Nobody wants to deal with a backed up drain, especially when it turns into a bigger plumbing problem. That's why Hoffman Brothers is offering a $95 main drain opening special for homeowners across Middle Tennessee. Hoffman Brothers licensed plumbing team is ready to get things flowing again. For all your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, electrical, and appliance needs, homeowners across Middle Tennessee trust Hoffman Brothers. Schedule your service today at hoffmanbros.com. Today on CityCast Nashville, it's summer, so we are looking for any excuse to eat ice cream. Joining us is local pastry chef and author of the brand new cookbook, Ice Cream Queen, Lokalani Alabanza. She shares her favorite spots around Nashville and some fascinating history behind America's favorite frozen dessert. It's Thursday, July 9th. I'm Marie Cecilia Anderson, and this is what Nashville's talking about. In your debut cookbook, The Ice Cream Queen, you write about the power of food nostalgia. So if someone wanted to experience Nashville through its most nostalgic ice cream shop, where would you send them?
Bobby's Dairy Dip, because it has been around for so long. It's changed hands, but I'm telling you, because it closes for a part, winter, fall, winter. And as soon as it warms up and the spring starts, those lines are just out the door. And it's everybody. It doesn't matter what you look like, who you are, like everyone's in line, children, animals. It is one of my favorites. And I do go. And I remember I hadn't gone in a long time and I got the largest twist cone and I had got misty-eyed because I was so excited.
Well, that's what I loved about your book and how you connect history to food and just memories in general. So what flavor of ice cream always takes you back to your childhood?
Oh my gosh, Neapolitan, which I have not had in a long time. Just looking at it or seeing the name really, puts me back there. If it's a strawberry shortcake, the novelties of the ice cream truck, definitely. Like if I hear the ice cream truck, I'm like, oh, clearly I see myself running down the steps with my crumpled up money or my couch money that I was digging for.
Mine is the same, the strawberry shortcake bar.
Yes.
It reminds me of going to the pool during the summertime and getting that and begging my mom for money for it.
Yes, that's the part. It was begging.
One a week, Marie. Well, let's get into the best places here in Nashville that stir up those types of memories. I'm going to give you, we're going to play a fun little game. I'm going to give you rapid fire categories and you can tell me what makes these places so special. So first one, best soft serve in Nashville.
So I go between, Bobby's and then Tabla Rasa, the toy store that is where Cafe Rose is in East Nashville. They're wonderful because sometimes I'm like, I want to be fancy and put some sprinkles on it. Sometimes I don't. You have to pick and choose.
What about frozen yogurt?
That I have not found because I was a Pinkberry fan in LA, which is very West Coast of me. But I know there was a new one that just opened up over in Wedgwood, Houston.
Culture Club.
And I was like, is that what I think it is as we drove past it?
Did you see the line?
I saw the line and I saw these cups and everybody was carrying these cups around. I was like, who has frozen yogurt in the city right now? So I have yet to try it.
I was so excited to try it the other night. And it was a line wrapped around the corner. And it appeared to be Influencers in the Wild convention. So
we'll have to give it to the end of the summer. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be right when it gets fall. Yeah.
The perfect time of year.
Yes.
That's
anytime. True. Yep. That'll be when it happens.
Milkshakes. Best milkshakes in town.
Okay. This is controversial. I don't drink milkshakes. I don't. But I do know that Hugh Babies has a good milkshake. I've had it. And you know what? I'm a California kid. And I know that a place called In-N-Out Burger opened up. And that was always my milkshake, was a number 2 animal style with a chocolate shake. And I understand how Southeasterners don't understand the hype. But
their milkshakes are so good. And their burgers are so good. And then their fries are up for debate. But if you take said fries and dip them in milkshakes, they taste incredible.
Exactly. Are you animal style the fries?
Yes.
And then everything is,
yes.
Then you fix all the problems.
Exactly. What about ice cream sundaes? Where would you recommend people going for an ice cream sundae?
Ice cream sundae is like very specific, right? But I'm not going to lie. I do go to Sonic and I buy that ice cream sundae. And I think it's under $2. And there is something about that soft serve with that hot fudge. It is very nostalgic. So that's what we're talking about, right? Food nostalgia. It's hot. It's kind of melting that ice cream a little bit. And then you get in the center, which is has a little bit more density. Like it's just so good. And that can kind of just curb whatever, like, if I'm craving that thing, it'll just do the thing I need to do.
What about an old school ice cream cake?
Okay, I haven't had one in a while. I was just talking to somebody yesterday about cake. Actually, it was a group of 11-year-olds because they were asking me a lot of questions. It was It was very cute. And one said, if you hadn't done ice cream, what else would you have made a book about? And I had to think about it. I was like, maybe cake. And I said, do you like cake? And he said, I don't like it. But he was eating the ice cream. And I said, would you eat ice cream cake? He said, absolutely not. And I thought it was a very funny story. I made one for a friend once, but she is from Europe, so she didn't have cake in it. It was just all ice cream. And so I did chocolate with a sunflower butter stracciatella.
Ooh.
And that was just such a good ice cream cake. But I have not had an ice cream cake in the city unless you go to like a Carvel. Was it Carvel, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is which is delicious. But I didn't grow up with that on the West Coast. That was very much an East Coast thing. I had, what was it, Baskin Robbins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was the cake. Whenever you got an ice cream cake, that's what you got. So that one, you almost have to make your own. So like, I enjoy making them, but I also have yet to go find one. So maybe that's the next concept we have is an ice cream cake shop. I'm just putting it out there for anyone that wants to take it and run with it.
That would take off. What about ice cream sandwiches?
Oh my gosh, Rebecca Tertian makes a great one at City House.
Oh, yeah. Really? Tell me about it.
Yeah. Rebecca Tertian is like the cookie queen of Nashville. Okay, so if you've gone and had the cookie, I tell everyone if you go, please eat. And if you want just dessert, please eat the dessert. Everything is so good. But she does ice cream sandwiches with her cookies. And it's just like the flavor profiles are always just so beautiful and just so right for the moment and the time and the season. They're delicious. So definitely go see her at City House.
And nothing brings me back more like snow cones. Do you have a recommendation for snow cones in Nashville?
The snow cone, there's different versions of a snow cone. So, like, you can go an actual snow cone itself, because I don't eat them, but I eat the snow ice that Diana's making and then Lucas is doing. So, like, there's like, I can never remember the name of it, where it's the shaved ice. It's layered with flavor and delicious bits and pieces of it. I know you have to go somewhere to find that, but as a snow cone in a perfect, like that classic paper cup that looks like you're at the dentist office, and the, bright colored syrups on there. I haven't had them, but I've seen the Kona truck around. Isn't it the Kona ice truck? I want to say I've seen it. I haven't had it yet.
And I haven't had the shave. Is it Hawaiian ice or like what is the shaved ice at Locust? Because I've seen it.
It's Japanese.
Oh, it is Japanese.
Yeah, it's Japanese. So I can think of Hawaii like having had a snow cone because it's a very specific type of thing with, the red beans, and you have different toppings and flavors that go on top of it. Like if I go to Hawaii, like I know to eat that, but then just having like a regular snow cone. No, I haven't had one in a long time. Also, the thought of it makes me like my teeth hurt a little bit.
I know, it kind of gives me a headache immediately because like if you eat the whole thing, it's just straight up sugar. It's just syrup.
It is. I'm like, yeah, it's like me doing like 2 coffees in a day. No.
Yeah, no, we know our limit.
Also, I don't have a sweet tooth. So people like freak out when I say, I don't have a sweet tooth.
As a pastry chef, you do not have a sweet tooth?
No, I love a potato.
Oh, that might actually be your superpower then. What about popsicles?
Popsicles. Oh my gosh. Okay, I think everyone should make their own popsicles personally. I mean, that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
I know the King of Pop is like a big one that is very celebrated in Nashville. And I haven't had a popsicle in a long time, which reminds me, I have molds at the house and I probably should use them.
Probably some historical molds as well, since you are quite
I have
the
those,
collector.
and I have just like regular silicone molds.
Right.
It's just like everybody else can. But again, I still think you could make your own with local ingredients if you choose to.
Well, those are all fun. And I feel like I'm back in my childhood, remembering the good old days of when I didn't think about calories and all that stuff. So thank you for taking us down memory lane there. Mark your calendars with great family fun on July 11th. Andrew Jackson's Hermitage is celebrating summer with stars, stripes, and strikes. From 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., the historic grounds will be packed with activities including vintage baseball, live music, face painting, lawn games, crafts, bubbles, and even a chance to meet a founding father. Yes, really! If you're feeling competitive, you can join in the Cornhole Challenge or test your skills in a pie eating contest. And if you're more of a spectator, like myself, grab lunch from Andrew and Rachel's Cafe, spread out a picnic blanket, and enjoy the festivities. Want to make your visit extra special? For just $10 more, you can stay for a living history presentation about Betsy Ross and the creation of the American flag. Admission to Stars, Stripes, and Strikes is included with regular entry to the Hermitage. Learn more and plan your visit at thehermitage.com. And now let's dive into your cookbook more. So tell us about Nashville's ice cream queen, Sarah Estelle, and what about her story shook you as you described in your book?
Sarah Estelle, her marker or her plaque is down on 4th and 5th, which I think every person that comes to Nashville or lives there should know that 4th and 5th were Cherry and Summer Street, which you'll see above. It's because it's historic streets, which I always thought was so fascinating. Cherry and Summer. It's 1840 Nashville, and she had two businesses. She had an ice cream saloon, which is what they called them back then. And then she had a boarding house, which I thought was really interesting, especially her being a woman of color and a free woman. And then there's documentation now that they found out that her mother worked for a man. And so they think that that's maybe how she got the money, right, to start her business. Because I think that's a big question is who gave her the money, how she raised the money during that era. But she had a lot of, people talked about this ice cream. One of my favorite quotes, I had to dig. I found it and then I lost it. And now I feel like I screenshot everything to remember a thing. I'll be like, I have to circle back to this. But someone said her pastries and her ice cream disappeared like dew in the morning sun. And I thought that is just such a good to describe something that people wanted so much and enjoyed, and it just consuming it and it's gone, especially ice cream. So I think a lot of it for me, as we talk a lot about, the book is about identity. I think it's a love letter to my grandmother, who cooked a lot but didn't write anything down. So I've been chasing this, how do I create a legacy for her or for my family? And no, I was so fascinated that I had no idea that within a 175, 80-year period that we existed, on a timeline, and that she was here doing something that I was doing. So I found that was just mind-blowing. And then I thought, if she exists, then others exist, because these are names that were not taught to me at all during culinary school or even afterwards. So I was still living in Nashville, probably, I think at least 5 years into before I found out about Sarah Estelle.
Your book really does such an amazing job at diving into specifically Black American history along the lines of ice cream. Why is that so important for your readers to learn, for Nashvillians, for everyone? Why is it so important for you to educate us all on Black history of ice cream?
Well, as we know, knowledge is freedom, right? And so the more you know, the more you can do with a lot of things. And for me, it's just part of the food diaspora. It's for the culture, but it's also American food history. And I think foremost, I want everyone to understand that it is part of this country. The sad thing, of course, is things get buried very deeply, and you have to go find them. And some people don't want to look that hard. The archives are there for a reason. It's information that's contained that you get to go see. And then sometimes you have to do your own detective work, right? But sometimes someone can write something maybe 50, 70, 80 years ago, and it's incorrect. And then that story just keeps playing over a course of time. And as we see what's changing in the world today, things get buried deeper and deeper into the internet. And so you can Google something that's not correct information. So I kind of want to just tell these stories of the dead, which are very important. Someone very important to me told me that that's what you should do when you write about things and you're looking at the past. You have to talk about these stories. And so it was really uplifting, especially, I have an archival collection of photographs of Black America eating ice cream. I think the oldest is from 1910. And that's rare. You don't see that a lot. So that was the motivation to sort of be like, oh, there's another side of this that I think is really important to talk about. But how great to pick something like ice cream and realize it's a vessel that carries so much more than just this pleasure, right? It's attached to history. It's attached to joy. It's attached to your olfactory, you time travel, And like I tell people, if you're not going to read your history, then I'm going to feed it to you, which is basically what this book has really been about.
Yeah, I was educated from your book about the person who actually invented the scoop.
Oh, yeah. Alfred, Alfred Crowley was a young guy that was working in a hotel and then watched his coworkers struggle to like scoop this ice cream, which makes me laugh because I think about like using a giant metal spoon that you would use in a pot
Right.
and, trying to get it into a dish. And then had this brilliant idea. And it was called a dasher, an ice cream dasher at the time. But of course, as it may be, he creates this thing and then someone else took the idea and then it became the mechanical ice cream scoop. And then he would die without having that patent like go into production fully for himself to have created this business. It's just a very sad, tragic story, but I don't feel like it has to be tragic in the way that like his ingenuity lives on, right? So that's part of it is I want everyone to think about him the next time you use your scoop.
Does Nashville have any Black-owned ice cream shops today?
Yeah, East Nashville Ice Cream and Coffee. They opened, I think, a couple years ago. It's Black-owned. Yeah.
And then you also mentioned Rolled Forever.
Yes, they're amazing. They've been around. My gosh, they've been around for a while. They have the truck and the truck pops up many places. I think they're the farmer's market now, Nashville Farmer's Market.
Yes, I believe they are. And I believe they do classes maybe still too. And
yeah, they do classes. You get to come in and see, because rolled ice cream is so interesting how it's that cold, it's just like a flat top. And then you're kind of like, I have to pour this liquid on it. And so they've really been really creative. And it's just amazing to see these two young women like really pour their heart and soul into something and how the community has really just come together to support them. And it's the same with East Nashville Cream and Bean. Same thing, like just their story, how they got there. And I think that is what's important. And it's an amazing thing to just see that there's Black-owned ice cream businesses in Middle Tennessee.
In your book, you shout out that today's ice cream makers are really pushing boundaries on flavors and presentation. So who is wowing you and inspiring you in Nashville these days?
I love Syrah's, because the flavors are just, they're great. And I think you can walk on the wild side and still feel good, because ice cream is so personal. I always compare it to like perfume. It's very subjective. If you eat vanilla as a child, I've noticed most people veer towards that flavor, which is not a bad flavor. Vanilla can be really extraordinary. It's what you feel comfortable with and what you're drawn to. And so I have witnessed people eat or try the wild flavors and still be like, I'll have a scoop of chocolate. Like, it's just so funny saying that. But I know Van Leeuwen just opened. And I think at one point they had done what? They were the ranch. They did ranch and I want to say mustard.
Ooh,
were the flavors that they had made a couple of years ago.
Ranch
Yeah,
and
they had done
mustard.
those. So, and Jenny's has done like everything but the bagel. Like, so there's so many layers. And I talk about this a lot because, I do have the Nashville hot chicken flavor in there. And so I always say like, people can call it gimmicky, but I also want people to know that you can get out of the comfort zone. You can challenge yourself. And I think that it just makes for good ice cream and it's fun. You can talk about it and then you can go back to whatever it is that you love.
And then in your research, historically, like what other flavors did you discover that shocked you?
Well, it's funny because it was what you had, right? So cherry, almond, ambergris, which is strange, which is like excrete. Like it's like, I don't know, it's gross. Like so but excrement, like would wash up on the shore and it's got a very pungent pheromone type thing going on. But it would be made into ice cream. It's on a lot of eau de parfums, like it's part of the ingredient. And so like it's just like a really funny to me. Artichoke, oyster is an actual recipe that's been found in books. Parmesan ice cream came out, I think, in like the late 1700s. So these aren't new things. It's just something that we forget. I do think we forget there's a past and that people were doing things before, even though they didn't have the technology at the time, but they were figuring out how to make it happen. That's why I always encourage everybody, if you find an older cookbook, go look at the ice cream flavors that were in it because it's just really fascinating.
Your Juneteenth recipe caught my eye. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, yeah. It was great. I mean, I had a great time making it because, you're reading a lot about Juneteenth, why it's celebrated, why it's an important holiday. And Also, red is so significant of a color. It stands for blood, it stands for loss, it stands for the future, for hope, all of these things. So you see it a lot in like strawberry ice cream, strawberry cake, red velvet. And so then I thought, what else has a red hue, but would just, the flavor profile would be delicious? I thought, oh, raspberry. And then it became like the hibiscus leaf is important part of that as well. Then it just female flavor. So I was like, oh, lime juice makes sense. So when I first made it, it's very tart, very refreshing, is beautiful to look at. And then I thought, well, I like a sherbet, which I used to call sherbet. And then there's no R in sherbet and sherbet. And so then I added just my coconut plain base that's very delightful. And then when they came together, so good. And it's one of my favorite. It's a laborious flavor to make, but it's one of my favorites. And it's an ode, like I say, to the future, the past, present, and the future.
Well, what I like most is that I can make all of these, like your recipes, the way that you've instructed us how to make these. Sometimes I get a little overwhelmed in my baking and cooking, but these are all, I can do this. And so I really appreciate how you wrote this book.
Oh my gosh, thank you for saying that. Because when they tell you as a professional chef and you have to write, they're like, don't get mad that you have to mix it. And I was like, it's fine. Is it good enough? Am I making this? So I learned a lot, so that's good to hear. Thank you.
You write about the first ice cream social in your book. Is this a tradition we can still find here in Nashville?
Yeah. I mean, the first one I ever did was at City House, and it was so amazing. I'm a big art fan, if you haven't noticed. And Frida Kahlo, there was the Frida Kahlo Diego Rivera exhibition years ago before the pandemic. And I have a very dear friend who's an incredible jewelry maker artist. And I looked at this one painting and I was like, I think we can make this an ice cream. And she said, okay, let's do it. And so 8 hours in her house, and we created this beautiful photograph. So it looks like a still life. And I thought it'd be cool to recreate the table to look like this photograph. So the table's covered in this gorgeous, these fruits, candles. People walked in, they were wowed. We pay homage to Alfred and like his ice cream dasher. And then we had 7 courses. They were all paired with a drink. My goodness.
Wow.
We had 20 something people. And then what I have everyone do, which is a very important part of this, is everyone has to write down their first ice cream memory. And then everybody stands up and everybody reads their ice cream memory. And it is the most incredible moment. It's very tender. It's very vulnerable. It's an icebreaker, but it changes the synergy. It is like electric and beautiful. And that is what this is about, truly is about community and how the table brings people together. I would like to do more in the future. It's just a really beautiful time. I don't think people realize, I think when they think of ice cream social, they probably think like styrofoam bowls, being at church, like something that's like not like, just like when you're a kid, but it's like, no, this is a really beautiful, incredible moment.
I mean, art inspires you, history inspires you, and then you're able to create these outstanding dishes that conjure up memories. So really, really cool stuff. And that's why I'm excited to bring up Saturated Ice Cream.
Yes.
This is your company, and I would love for you to explain to us what it is and what you are doing differently.
Well, we started in the summer of 2020. It was CBD, which was so funny. But everybody worked. I think I read an article about like you sleep better if you eat ice cream before bed.
Yep.
And I was like, wait a minute. What if I put magnesium in it? That could be even better. I'm on something now. I just gave myself an idea. And it was during a really tumultuous time. And it did really well. And then I got a book deal and it was like, oh my gosh, like you have to. And so it was a lot of it in the end was trying to just get it to a place where I could get it manufactured, because I had done, I think when I did the math, like at least over 10,000 units by hand, which sounds wild.
Wow.
And then I was like, well, you have to finish this book. And then I pinned it to get a manufacturer.
Is Saturated Ice Cream available to purchase online?
No, I have made it not available because it got out of hand at one point. And so now it got out of hand. But now I think we'll probably start back, probably like late summer. But I'm trying now. I did an event a couple weeks ago. So like I'll show up at certain places and just pop up and then let everyone know that I'm doing it.
Okay.
It was easier that way. Yeah. So then I do hope Nashville, if you want to come to the Ice Cream Social, please do.
Yes. How do they find you? How can they be on that list?
So we have a website, and when we post it up, usually the ticket sales go up. So we'll post before and let you know on Instagram what's happening. And then we have the tickets until they sell out. Because I think My sweet spot's like 25 to maybe 30 people max. Because when you're coursing out for that many, it just becomes more complicated.
Wild.
It's about space and time. Yeah.
Well, so then by the time this airs, your book will be out, Ice Cream Queen. Folks, we're going to link it in today's show notes. I mean, not only is it an incredible cookbook filled with all kinds of recipes, we didn't even get into all the non-dairy stuff that just completely blows you away. So please check out this book and then learn the history of ice cream, and especially Black American ice cream. It really is so important that you wrote this book for everybody. And I just really can't thank you enough for making time for us.
Oh, yeah. I'm so glad. Thank you for asking me. And I'm glad that you love the book. Thank you.
That's all for today here on CityCast Nashville. And don't forget, you can support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Nashville neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell your friends, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our CityCast Nashville newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Doodles!